Farmers around the world are planning to cut food production as costs continue to go up. According to the National Farmers Union, farmers are all struggling with soaring costs and are being forced to cut back on their food production. One farmer described the food system as broken, and nearly 1/3 of farmers have already cut back on crops for food. Many farmers are switching from growing wheat for bread to wheat for animal feed because it uses less fertilizer. Seen more after Russia's invasion of Ukraine, fuel, animal feed, fertilizer, and energy inflation over the past several months is putting major financial pressure on farmers who can't pass the higher costs onto the supermarkets and other customers. Price of fertilizer is up, gas prices are up, diesel fuel prices are up. The Ukraine conflict has made the situation even worse, with sanctions hitting supplies from Russia, which is one of the largest or the world's biggest producers of some of the key ingredients in fertilizer. Our food sources are being attacked, and it doesn't take much to do it. You can see how food has been turned into a weapon, far stronger and potentially more damaging than any missile that could be fired upon us. It basically all boils down to there will be less food. One farmer was quoted saying, "I get up in the morning and sometimes I wonder, why am I doing this?" Farmers' energy bills have doubled. Diesel used in farm equipment is up 200%. On average, a 400% increase in fertilizer costs have been seen by many farmers. Farmers are considering using less fertilizer on their fields, which means a lower crop yield when it's time to harvest. Fertilizer is too expensive, so farmers buy less. Farmers buy less fertilizer, farmers produce less food. Pretty much how it works. Yeah. Farmers are essentially subsidizing the world and our food supply. Farmers are saying the food system is broken, and as costs are skyrocketing, they have to make the tough choices, which can mean devastation for us all. Right now, it is harder than ever for farmers to make a living, be able to reinvest in their farms and businesses to continue to plant, fertilize, harvest, and feed the world. A recent survey found that 7% of dairy farmers are considering stopping milk production by 2024. Possible pig meat shortages coming quickly, according to experts. Pig farmers are scaling back their production plans, further increasing the sector's crisis point. China-owned Smithfield Farms has already announced its California pork plant closure. If you remember this, it's from a previous video that I posted, this is only the beginning. Thousands of pigs had to be culled last year due to a shortage of skilled butchers. And on top of the higher prices of fuel, pig feed costs and farmers are feeling the pain and are getting hit hard, making it impossible for them to turn a profit.
Now I have a question. Where did all the butchers go? Like, we didn't have a problem with butchers previously. Where did they go? Like,
they probably went to higher paying jobs.
Possibly. I mean, because if they're going to have to do more work to try to keep up with demand and not get paid more to do it, or because demand had gone down because, we've seen such a shortage in meat, maybe they went somewhere else for that.
Oh yeah, the demand and the wages, at the end of the day, everything costs more. So whatever you do, you need to make more. And if the butchers don't have the ability to go to work, and or that work doesn't pay enough or more as it should to combat inflation, there's your shortage there.
Yeah.
And then you got the fact that, how many butchers are being groomed. This is not something that is
I've never seen a butcher school.
Yeah, it's not
butcher
promoted.
trade school.
It's not glamorous.
Yeah.
This is not something that this is like a family trait passed down, more than likely.
That's what I was going to say. I would think that the farm that grows the meat is the one who also teaches the butcher. So if a farm is closing, that's one less butcher that you're going to have. And then if he wants to go somewhere else, in theory, the other farm he's trying to go to already has a butcher, so he's not needed.
And much like the rest of us, farmers are experiencing extreme financial pressure. It is taking a toll on the farmers, according to experts. There's a lot of pressure on people at the moment, and they aren't quite sure where to turn. Could be some of the butchers.
Mm-hmm.
Stress is mounting up, and this is putting the mental health of many at risk.
Yeah.
We're here on a farm in Mississippi, and we spoke in great detail to the owners of this farm, husband and wife farmers here for over 35 years, and their kids help on the farm, and on their own farms as well. This farm is 2,500 acres behind me, and the fields that you see here are soybeans.
They have a corn farm also in a different location. So they've got all this is soybeans, and then somewhere in that direction they also have corn. So they've got two different crops that they can yield. So if one kind of goes, at least hopefully you've got a different one to fall back on.
Hopefully, and they told me about some of the costs that they used to carry, some of their overhead costs that they have since eliminated and they outsource, but you know, it helps them manage their finances a little bit better. They pay a premium for it when they need it, but they don't have to carry it all the time. But you know, I also asked them how the fertilizer shortage is affecting their crop, and they told me that the fertilizer shortage is kind of odd. It's kind of strange because I thought that you couldn't get it, and so she told me, she says, no, we can get it. It's just she said it's just really expensive.
So then instead of wanting to pay for it, you've got to find other ways to fertilize. So she was actually telling us that there is a rice farm around here that the guy lets the rice field overflow with water, and instead of using fertilizer, he lets the fowl and other birds and stuff
naturally
fertilize it. So he's saving money on fertilizing it, and it's helping for the animals. It's helpful for the animals, I guess. And then in theory, it's going to give you a cleaner, better tasting rice in the long run also, because it doesn't have the chemicals that are in fertilizer.
Right. And you know, so they can get now that's how he goes about it.
Yeah.
But on this farm, they can get fertilizer.
Yeah.
But it's at an extremely high cost. So I said, well, hey, you know, all these costs are going up. At least you can get it. That's great. Now, how does that change how much you sell your crops for? And she says it doesn't. She says that the price of what they farm, what they harvest, ultimately what they can make money off of to stay in business, to continue doing this, is not set by them. It's set sort of like a stock market. I can't remember the exact phrase she used for the market, but there's a market that dictates how much these crops are going to be worth, despite all other factors. And you just have to play the market. Theoretically, sell high at the top. Here's the crazy thing about selling high at the top. You don't know you're at the top until you're not at the top anymore. So you could choose to sell today at this price because you think it's the top, and then tomorrow you realize it's not the top.
Yeah.
You know, it's an interesting little game that you have to play here. And much like the truck drivers kind of getting screwed over by the brokers who manage the logistics and the loads, they're getting paid what these loads are worth, but they're sending out cheap rates to the truck drivers because they know the truck drivers are desperate. So in this situation, it's a little bit similar, where whoever's managing the price of soybeans on this market for farmers to sell, they know the farmers are desperate. So there's no need to pay them a premium, despite the fact that they know that the farmers' costs are increasing.
And you got to think about it. When we go to the grocery store, though, we're paying the premium. The prices are going up for us. We are paying more to get it, but the farmers are not being paid more to supply it.
Yeah.
Which is what sucks. That means that the middleman is taking all of the money, and it's hurting the begin and the end.
Like,
it's hurting the farmer, and it's hurting the consumer.
Biden, he's like making these irrational, borderline communist threats, socialist threats against the oil companies and their record profits, and they need to stop making money to sell oil, which isn't really the problem. The problem is the refinery and the inability to produce the fuels that we need, and probably the fact that we keep shipping all the fuel we have to Europe. But you know, that's a whole nother subject. But instead, he should really probably be saying, hey, whoever's in charge of the price of food, who's really putting these farmers under, risking their businesses and going out of business completely and just scrapping this and moving on to work at Buc-ee's or facilitate orders at Amazon, or maybe even work at Chick-fil-A drive-thru. My pleasure. And he needs to go to them and say, look, y'all need to stop bending these farmers over and give them a break and help them make money so that we can keep feeding America. Like, why it's like we're Joe, what's up?
You know how we're going to know when it's really, really just completely hell in a handbasket? When you go to Chick-fil-A and you go to get something and they tell you no. Instead of my pleasure, you get a flat out no. That's when you
No,
know.
you're absolutely right, because of all places.
They're the only ones who are still giving you as many sauces as you want.
No. Not just that. I've yet to come to a Chick-fil-A where they say we don't have it.
That is very true. They do have absolutely everything. You can't find chicken in a grocery store, but you're not going to go to a Chick-fil-A.
You go to certain places, nope, we don't have it. We're out. We don't have that. Truck didn't come in. Yada yada yada.
We've had to change our menu because we can't get these things.
The minute you go to a Chick-fil-A, and maybe this is just me. Maybe y'all have been to Chick-fil-A's and they've already told you that they don't have it or something like that. But if that's not the case, and Chick-fil-A starts saying we don't have it, we're out, yada yada yada, then we probably are in some serious shit at that point.
Yeah.
But you know, these farmers here, the reason why we're here, and actually you guys can't see it, but I'll show it to you. We kind of like camped out here, and there's actually a tractor right here. I don't remember what she called that. That thing is huge, and I don't remember what she called it. That thing is a monster. But they actually had these guys over here. They were working on it. They were fixing it, and you already know that. You know, the farming industry is suffering from like a huge pullback or a drawback in their equipment, getting new equipment, fixing the equipment, parts for the equipment,
fuel for the equipment.
Yeah, let alone the fuel for the equipment. And you know that there's the right to repair fight.
Yeah.
Where all these companies are saying John Deere and Kubota and this one's Case. And I highly doubt anybody's rocking any Lamborghini tractors out here, but Lamborghini would be a part of the crowd. That they don't want people fixing their own equipment that they bought. They want to be able to sell them proprietary parts and software updates, which that's a racket too. Anybody who bought a Tesla who thought they had free charging for life, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. These software updates are going to get us. These fees are going to get us. But these farmers, they've moved on to other forms of income through the wife. She has a full-time job.
Yep.
In addition to this, that she has to travel across the country for just to earn a living. They've introduced this Harvest Host idea, which is how they allowed us to stay here, how we were able to find them through Harvest Host. So we have a place to park our Class B van, our RV for the night. And actually, it was actually really cool. Twofold. One, they're trying to produce income, but two, I mean, we're supporting local farmers.
Yeah, Barney and Bob will just eat meat. The girls have their own stall, so at night they don't have to fight for food. They can have their own.
So let me do this part.
Buying some really, really good high quality food.
I want to do this part. So I actually picked this place, and the reason I picked this when I looked on Harvest Host was because they said that they are a farm where they grow corn and soybeans and stuff like that, but they also have animals for the kids to feed and pet. And they had Highland cattle, miniature Highland cattle. They have llamas and alpacas. They have
goats,
chickens, goats,
ducks,
all kinds of stuff, and ducks. So that's the main reason one turkey. There used to be two. Coyote got it. But that's the main reason why I picked this place, because I thought it would be great for our daughter to come here and get to feed the animals, see the animals, and also get to learn about the crops and the things that they do here and how much work it is for that one thing that she wants to go to the grocery store and buy. It didn't just end up there. It had to start somewhere. So I wanted her to see that. And we got here late yesterday. There's a cutoff time. I told them, I was like, listen, we didn't realize how long the drive was. We're going to be late. And they still let us go over there. And we fed the alpaca. We fed a bottle to the baby Highland.
Cow.
I don't remember his name. But we got to feed the ducks. We got to feed the goats. We got to feed all kinds of stuff. And then she got to pick fresh eggs out of the coop, which was the coolest thing.
Yeah, and actually, if anybody is growing chickens, Michael told me.
Chickens? Is that the right word?
Raising chickens.
There you go.
Raising chickens.
I don't think growing is the right word.
Yeah, don't grow.
Don't grow your chickens.
Not yet. Wait till Bill Gates gets his farm up and running. We'll be growing chickens. Yeah. But Michael, he was telling me, I don't know anything about chickens. I don't know anything about farming. Yes, everybody's going to jump in the comments down below. It's like, Kevin, you're not a real prepper. You're not prepping all 24/7. Why are you wearing a shirt today? But anyway, Michael, he was telling me that, the feed that you give the chickens, if you guys know what I'm talking about, don't feed them 15 or 16%. Feed them 22% of whatever it was he was talking about, whatever this feed is. He said at 22%, he's seeing the chickens are laying once a day. He said at 15, 16%, maybe every other day. So for the higher increase in that feed to 22%, you're getting an egg a day,
which is good.
They sell this, and we bought some eggs, we bought some rice, we bought some hats and some other stuff from them because we want to support them. But they're actually really nice people.
They're extremely nice people.
And they taught us a lot.
Yeah.
And they've shown us a lot, and we'll more than likely be back here at some point. And they're actually probably gonna come visit us too, because ironically, like, we're like neighbors in another part of the country, but it's crazy. They are moving on to other ways to supplement their income, which is some of the things that I've talked about in other videos. Side hustle income. Like I said, she's got a full-time job in another state. That's not really a side hustle, but at the end of the day, you got to realize it's another form of income. It is a side hustle because this is a full-time job. Like this, I don't know if you guys look at this. This is like barely scratching the surface of what they got going on here. And this is a full-time job. This is more than a full-time job. And side hustle, another full-time job on top of this is considered a side hustle.
So I was actually going to talk about this on my channel, but since we're here talking, I wanted to mention anybody out there that has space, that has the ability to host, you can join Harvest Host. And I think it cost us $100 to join Harvest Host, and we can go to all these different places.
For the year.
For the year, $100 for the year to go to all these different places. And they don't charge you when you get here, but a lot of these places have things that they can sell you, or you can donate to them to help them. And if you guys have like a small homestead, or you have enough space where you could host a Class B or a Class C or a Class A, join Harvest Host, because it's a good way to help the people like us that are traveling and see new things. It's a good way if you do have your own small business or your own homestead or something like that. It's a good way to get people there so they can see what you do. It's a good way to put your name out there and sell your stuff and make extra income.
Oh yeah, it's and what you sell doesn't have to be a physical product.
No.
It could be a digital product. It could be
knowledge. It could just be mouth whatever, talking knowledge. You never know.
Yeah, explaining things. It could be offering some form of service, whether it be like, you do somebody's taxes or something. I don't know. Maybe you're an artist. Maybe you can draw like a little picture of them to commemorate the visit.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many different things that you could possibly sell. Something as simple as a trash can, trash bags, water, just different things that if anyone who's actually traveled, camped, did a little bit of RVing and things like that, the little things that matter a lot, the little things that you may forget or you run out of, or like batteries or toothpaste, or like any like little stuff. Not like, oh my God, I don't have a farm, I don't have anything to make to sell. I don't know.
You have a driveway. You have a front yard or a backyard. Then you can do it.
And then you just go, and you go and you buy something. It could even, Amazon. Yes, we're supporting China by going to Amazon, but you go on Amazon, you buy some stuff for cheap, and you have it there, and you just have a bunch of it. So it's like, hey, we got these little toiletry bags, so when you guys show up,
I'm like, go to the 5-quarter store.
Yeah, it's like, and I'm talking like, just a trash can. There's a blue dumpster over here for the fact that we can take, when you're traveling, van, camper, Class A, Class B, Class C, it doesn't matter. Space is car. A lot of car camping, like, living out of cars and vans and things like that. It's this space is so vital. So when you can get rid of the trash that you've collected in your space and throw it away and gain that space back to keep going, like that's a game changer. When you advertise and say, hey, we got a place for 2 or 3 vehicles to park, and be nice, be cordial, be polite, and hey, we got a trash can you guys can dump. We have
a water hose.
We got a water hose.
You don't have to have electric hookup or water hookup or cable hookup. You don't have to have any of that kind of stuff. That's not what this is about. This is a stop on the way to your next stop kind of thing, and it works out really well.
Because especially if I don't want to go way too off topic here, but if you know what I'm talking about, having a place for someone to dump their gray water, big deal.
Yes,
okay,
very big deal.
Having a place for someone to plug a hose in, because if you're running a rig and you've got a generator, theoretically you'll have power. But to be able to free up space in the gray water tank, huge. And to be able to add water, huge. You can't just add water by driving. You can't add water by turning on a generator. You can't add water by being under the sun for solar. So these minor things, I hope you guys are paying attention, are opportunities for you to create additional income, especially now as things are going to be changing more and more frequently, and people are probably going to be changing the way that they go about, possibly moving towards more of a nomadic lifestyle and traveling. And you as a farmer perhaps may be better suited to be selling your products to people, your food, your crop, your yields to people traveling than on this market. Because like, to me, looking at this is volume here. This is volume. They have to sell volume. Where does it go? She says most of this goes overseas to be used in so many different reasons for soy, not for food, or at least for human consumption.
Yeah.
Maybe our food's food, but at the end of the day, this is volume. This is volume, and I'm looking at it. If I were to do it, I'm gonna have a farm that I can live off of.
Yeah.
Not that I need to live off of to go buy food. If I were to do this, I would have the chickens, and I would have the corn, and I would have the wheat in smaller quantities, manageable for us, and the livestock that we would need for whatever. She's not eating the meat, but regardless, not different kind of meat. But I would have a farm for us, because this right here, this is a racket. This is a racket. It's not fair. It's unfair. It's silly. It's ridiculous. But that's just me. We're moving on. Farmers are hurting. Help the farmers.
Help the farmers in any way you can.
Help the farmers.
Yeah.
If any farmers out there, comment below. Let me know if anything I'm saying is off. Let me know if anything I'm saying needs to be corrected. Let me know if there's something I'm missing that I need to share that everybody should hear. Because we got serious crisis going on, and we are headed towards. I put up a video this morning. Somebody said food shortages. What food shortages? I deliver to Walmart. Walmart's back. Their back stock is like overflowing. Sure, it is today.
Of processed crap.
It is.
It is good stuff.
Well, yeah, processed. Because if you go to, I don't know, we're gonna keep checking Walmart's along this drive, but the fresh chicken, non-frozen chicken in Walmart is lacking. It's not there.
The frozen chicken is there, which also makes you wonder, but that's fine.
And these are cycles. So as this cycle catches up, where farmers have pulled back and crop yields are reduced, and we don't have the butchers to produce the pork and other things like that, we're going to see it soon. So don't look at it like today, like, oh my God, there's plenty today. I can have my 4th of July barbecue. There's nothing to worry about. I got a 48 pack of Natty Light. Like, come on now. Like, think about it long term. It's not just today. It's about tomorrow.
So the next time you go to Walmart and you go to look for those little packages of the pre-cut chickens, don't be surprised when the whole ass chicken is there and they're like, figure it out yourself. You know what I mean? Whole pig just sitting on the counter.
There you go.
Figure it out yourself.
Free butcher knife with purchase.